For hundreds of years, the world has been without sight. You think because you can see, that will save you?
No. My father is Baba Voss.
After having rescued his son Kofun, Baba Voss is trying to locate and free his daughter Haniwa from the clutches of his brother Edo Voss, the general of the Travantian army. Baba attracts her to Travantes, the capital of the Travantian Republic, and manages to infiltrate the city, but Edo is alerted of his presence. Inside the capital, Haniwa is secretly held captive by Edo and his right-hand woman Ren, with Haniwa soon realizing that Ren can actually see. Back in control again, Queen Cain, whose name is Seabeth, together with Magra and the Payan army, marched to Pensa, the main city of the Payan kingdom, since Kanzua was destroyed by Seabeth herself. The ruler of Pensa, Lord Harlan, isn't quite happy with the arrival of the queen, but is for the moment forced to submit to her wishes. Having been instructed by Baba to wait for him outside of Travantes, Kofun and Paris are found by Toad and his witch-finders, and Kofun is taken to Pensa. After consecrating Pensa as the new capital of the Payan kingdom, Seabeth tells the people that the Travantians are responsible for destroying Kanzua, because they had heard that she is carrying a sighted child. Back in Travantes, Baba tries to locate Haniwa, but instead of freeing her, he is captured. Baba is being tortured on instructions from Edo, who vows to make him pay for what he has done, which is revealed to be the killing of their father a long time ago and fleeing the city. While Baba is held captive, Haniwa and Ren start bonding with each other. After having heard that the supposed attack of the Travantians on Kanzua is a lie, Harlan proposes an alliance by marrying the queen, but Seabeth offers him Magra instead. Later that day, Boots is killed by Seabeth in her chamber after learning that she has lost her unborn child. In Travantes, Edo tries to persuade the Triangle, a ruling body consisting of 3 members who lead the Travantian Republic, to the importance of sighted children, but the Triangle dismisses his ideas. Edo has Baba then locked up in a cell, where Tamakti June is also being held, revealing that he had survived Boots' attack. Tamakti tells Baba that Magra is still alive, while Ren learns that Edo plans to use Haniwa as a breeding factory for his army of sighted soldiers. Having grown to care about her, Ren frees Baba and Tamakti, and together they locate and free Haniwa and escape Travantes, except for Ren, who decides to stay. With the escape of Baba, Tamakti, and Haniwa, Edo is scolded by the Triangle for his failure. Wanting to meet up with Paris and Kofun, Baba's group is unable to locate them, but Haniwa sees a message left behind by Kofun that they are headed to Pensa. They continue their journey, but are then attacked by slavers. Paris and her band of women warriors then show up and save them. With the slavers dealt with, Paris tells them the story of the Compass, a secret female-run organization which has protected sighted children for years, and that she was once a member, but was casted out because she let a certain boy, Gerla Morel, become too powerful and slipped through their fingers. Meanwhile in Pensa, Seabed convinces Magra to marry Harlan for political reasons, and Magra agrees on the condition that he will try to find her family. While en route to Pensa, Toad's witch-finders want to kill Kofun for being a witch, aka sighted, but Toad kills one of them while the other escapes. Now, being blind after his battle with Baba Voss, Gerla Morel is being visited by Edo, who soon decapitates Gerla Morel, after realizing that he is blind and thus no longer useful. Continuing their journey to Pensa, Baba's group is forced to stop, since Baba Voss is physically unable to continue, due to the wounds he suffered from his imprisonment under Edo. Thanks to Paris's connections, they are given shelter in a nearby village, with their friend Bolai welcoming them. Tamakti is forced to camp outside of the village, since in his past as Witchfinder General, he had slaughtered many members of that village. He reveals to Paris his regret for a lot of things he had done on orders from Seabed, with her abandoning him and being responsible for the death of his wife and his children during the flooding of Kanzua. In Travantes, the Triangle does not allow Edo to attack the Payans, since they already have a war in the west. Instead, Military, one of the members of the Triangle, plans to send a delegation to the Payans and come to an agreement diplomatically. Kofun and Toad then arrive in Pensa, just before Magra's wedding. After being reunited with his mother, Kofun learns of his mother's wedding to Harlan and is not pleased with it. Later that day, Seabed seduces Kafun into an intimate relationship, while Magra has her new husband's brother, Kerrigan, sent on a mission to locate her lost family. With the chances of a war against the Trevantians increasing every day, Magra implores Seabed to allow for a peaceful solution, one that requires no dead bodies in the end. Seabed eventually allows for a peace summit, but demands that the Trevantians have to formally apologize and compensate for the incurred damage, fully realizing that the chances of that are zero. Baba Voss and the rest of his company then finally arrive in Penza. After meeting with his wife, Baba learns, much to his frustration and anger, that she now is his ex-wife, since she is married to Harlan. Later that day, Seabed organizes a dinner party for the family, but instead of trying to spark a sense of unity, she sows distrust by trying to play out Babai, Harlan, and Magra against each other. That night, Baba and Magra are forced to set their feelings aside for the moment and convene with the Makti, with the three of them coming to the conclusion that peace with the Trevantians can only be achieved if Seabed is dethroned or dead. While her sister is planning to strip her of her power, Seabed is hatching her own plot to retain that same power by tricking Kafun into a scheme in which the end result will be a divine and sighted child of her own. That night, Harlan receives a package from a messenger and shockingly learns that it is the head of his brother, Kerrigan. With their mission clear, Baba Voss, Magra, and Harlan leave Penza for a diplomatic meeting with the Trevantian delegation, which includes Ren, who has secretly been instructed by Edo to prevent a peace and pave the way for war. Meanwhile, in Penza, Seabed furthers her plans with Kafun and reaches a climax, quite literally. At the summit, both parties seem seriously interested in peace, until Magra brings up Seabed's demand of a formal apology, and one of the Trevantians reveals that they had killed Kerrigan, Harlan's brother. Hearing this, Harlan goes into a frenzy and even attacks the Trevantian, causing the meeting to be stopped. Later that night, Harlan sets up a secret meeting with Magra and Ambassador Scopus, the leader of the Trevantian delegation. Magra reveals to him that she knows that they are not responsible for the destruction of Kanzua, and promises that if he agrees to apologize, she will depose Seabed and reveal the truth to everyone. Scopus agrees with the plan, and the next day, the peace summit is resumed and everything is discussed to usher in an era of peace. However, that night, the peace summit camp is sneakily attacked and the Trevantian delegation is killed. The assassins are dealt with, but the damage is already done and irreparable. Baba Voss and Magra soon realize that Seabed is responsible and that the summit was just a tactic to commit an act of war, of which there is no going back. When everyone had returned to Penza from the peace summit, Tamakti exposes Seabed for the destruction of Kanzua, with Magra joining the general and Harlan backing them. Seabed is deposed and headed to the executioner's block, but Paris stops the planned execution and reveals that Seabed is pregnant. From Kafun, of course. Knowing that the Trevantian army is on the move with 250 soldiers, Magra and her council make preparations for the smaller Payan army of 160 soldiers to soon leave for Green Hill Gap, a defensible fortress in which they can bottleneck the Trevantian army. With the preparations done, Queen Magra gives her army an emotional speech, while Baba Voss sends Paris on a secret mission, with Toad joining her. Knowing that Penza is left vulnerable, Edo has sent assassins to kill Queen Magra. However, before they can ambush her, she hears them coming, and together with Harlan, they manage to narrowly beat them and escape with their lives, with Harlan severely wounded. With the Payan army having reached Green Hill Gap, they soon come to realize that the Trevantian army has arrived as well, with even more soldiers than they had been told. With both armies standing opposite from each other, Haniwa tries a last attempt at peace with Ren, but she tells her it is too late, and the Trevantian arrows are let loose. Haniwa makes it back in time into the fortress, and the Trevantians soon follow her and try to knock down the gates with a battering ram. With the Payans believing that death is coming, Bolin, Paris, and Toad arrive with 100 Hidden Tribe soldiers. With the reinforcements now there, Baba Voss gives a war speech to his men and decides to open the fort gates and let the enemy in. The Trevantians cautiously walk inside the fortress, but are brutally picked off. Edo decides that he has heard enough and orders his army to storm the fort. A full-scale battle ensues, and soldiers from both armies die horrendous deaths, including Toad. More Trevantians than Edo would have liked died in the battle, thanks to the Payan traps and tactics. with the final and biggest ploy being leading most of the Travantian army onto an ice field and then breaking the ice from underneath them. Edo then challenges Baba to a one-on-one fight, and Baba manages to defeat him, but is unwilling to kill him. Baba then tells Edo that their father instructed him to kill Edo, but that he didn't do it then and won't do it now. But when Edo attacks him, he is forced to kill his own brother, who dies, but in his final moments, realizes that their father was the prick, not Baba. With the Travantian army defeated and captured, Haniwa lets Ren go, and the army returns to Pensa. Magra promotes Tamakti to general of the army and declares that the Witchfinder force is no more, since the sighted are no longer considered witches. After his reunion with Magra, Baba Voss decides that Pensa is not his home and sneaks away the following morning, while Olaman, Jarla Moral's son, introduces explosives to Edo's scientists. Sometime later, Paris checks in on Seabed, who suddenly slices Paris's throat while telling her that she will kill her child before she lets it be taken. Season 2 ends here. Subscribe if you don't want to miss our take on Season 3.